everybody, this is Gina. Today I'm going to show you how to make this necklace and earrings. It's a very simple design. It is using the beads that are found in the treasure box number 2, Nature's Bounty, and it is universal technique. So if you do not have the treasure box and you want to learn how to make the necklace, you can do that. This technique will work with any beads that you have. So go ahead and follow along even though you don't have the box, and maybe you'll get a little inspiration for some of the beads you do have. So anyway, keeping it simple with a lot of these designs because they are nice, big, pretty beads, and they don't need a lot of showcasing. They showcase themselves. So let's go ahead and look and see what we're using and get started on this particular set. Okay, we're going to keep this really simple. Just go ahead and wash your crystal a little bit first because it's a little cloudy. And then if you use a microfiber towel, if you have one, and wipe them off, they're really sparkly again. So I'm going to start with my 3 bigger beads. Now, these rainbow plated beads, they can be a little bit different color. I seem to have 2 that are pretty much alike and 1 that's a little different. So I'm going to put it right in the middle and put the other 2 that are more similar on the outside. And they're all really close, but you can see a little bit different color in mine. So I'm going to start with this different color one, and I'm just going to put it in the center of my beading wire. We're going to string from the center out so we can create as we go here. Then we're going to use these 9mm bead caps. Now, there were a few packages that I substituted a little bit different type, but they should work. But most all the packages have these, but there's a few out there that have a little bit different. But try them and see how they work. And we're going to go ahead and drop this one down on either side. And then I think I'm going to put a trapezium crystal on. Let's get a little closer, rearrange just a little bit and get closer here. And I think I'll just drop a trapezium crystal next to this big one here. And then on the other side too. And then, yeah, I like that. That looks pretty good. Center my wire again, and then I'm just going to drop another of my big bead caps, making sure that the outside of it is towards the trapezium crystal so that it will lay properly on my big crystal. Then I'm going to put the big crystal glass on this side, and then do the same thing on the other side. Very simple. And then again, another of my bead caps, the flared part towards the big bead. So string it on so that it lays nice against the bead. And then the trapezium crystal. And it looks like I'm only going to use 4 of these trapezium crystals, so we'll have to think of something to do with that one. And then another on this side. That looks good. And then I am going to grab one of my smaller 6mm bead caps, and on the round tip part, the outside, I'm going to string through this way so that the flared part is away from my wire, or you see how I'm stringing it. Just slide it on there like that. And the same thing on the other side, so that the flared part will lay against the next beads we put on. Now I'm going to put a bigger bead on one of these round ones, these 10 by 8 crystals on either side. And then I think I'm going to grab another small bead cap and put it on towards the bead like this, so that these beads are encased. And then I'm going to center my wire again, and I'm going to just drop 6 beads, the rondelles, the big ones. I'm going to drop 6 of them on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side, of course. There. And then center my wire again. And then I think I'm going to take one of the bigger bead caps, oops, and drop it down on top of this bead. And then one of the smaller ones, see how this looks, see if it, actually I kind of like that. It makes kind of a fancy little ending there. It's pretty. So then we're going to do the same thing on this side, the bigger bead cap towards the bead, and then the smaller one. Just like that. And then we're going to get our crimp beads, which mine seem to have disappeared into bead mat oblivion. I don't know where they went. Let me grab a couple more. So your size 2 crimp beads, I'm using size 2 beadalon. And then I'm going to drop one of these crimp beads down. I'm going to take a potato chip bag clip. I can't find my bead clip thing. I don't know where it went. It escaped. So then I am going to grab my clasping end here. No, actually I am not. I'm going to grab a piece of my chain that I cut previously. So you want 4 inches of chain if you're making an 18-inch necklace. Make sure the chain is closed because some of these links are a little open, so make sure they're closed. If not, close it with your pliers. And then after you have dropped this on, let's get you a little closer, then you want to just bring your beading wire around and go through that crimp tube, the bead cap beneath the bead cap, and the first bead. And then find which side is sliding, let's see, and hold the opposite side. And just slide your bead wire down. And just keep doing that until you have a nice loop, a little bit smaller than the chain links, just like this. And then we're going to take our crimping tool. This side you don't have to worry about tension or anything. It should be just fine. Let's make sure I have the right amount of beads here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, I do. And grab your crimping tool and place it, centering it on the crimping tube in the second divot closest to the handle in the crimping tool. I'm going to get you close so you can see how I have that centered right in that divot. And then I'm just going to squeeze. Now, when I put my bead wire through, I make sure I put it through one side so it's not twisted too much. I don't worry too much about it being really parallel inside a connection like this, because a lot of times when you try to force that to happen, you will have your crimp will be funny and it'll make your chain hang weird. So I just try to get it in there the best I can. And you can see I have it encapsulating both sides of the beading wire pretty well. Now you have a fold in the middle and 2 tubes on either side. You're going to place those 2 tubes sideways so that the tubes themselves are touching the beading or the crimping tool, just like this. And you're putting it into the first divot closest to the tip of the tool, and then you're just going to squeeze. And you get a really nice little crimp just like that. And then you can always give it another little squeeze with the flat part of the pliers if you want to make sure that it's nice and tight. And then I have a nice crimp. So then I'm going to grab my cutters here and I'm going to cut as close as I can to the bottom of this bead and cut that off. So now that we have this side finished, let's do this side. So again, pick up your crimp tube onto your wire, drop it down, pick up your beading chain, put it on your wire. I previously checked my chain, so it is closed. And then I'm just going to take my beading wire and I'm going to try to hold these 3 beads together well. So the bead caps and the first bead, and I'm just going to slide it through all 3 of them. And then I'll grab my chain nose pliers and the side that isn't sliding. Let's see, which side do I want? Maybe this side. And just hold on to that side that isn't sliding and pull this through. Let me get you a little closer. So I always figure out which side is stable and which side is sliding as I pull this through, and I hold on to the stable side and slide the sliding part. That way the beads don't come apart too badly. And then when I get to the point where I can just adjust the size of my loop without having my beads slide around, I just let go of that, slide it down, and then I'm ready to crimp. So I will grab my crimping tool. And again, in the second divot, you can see there's 2 divots here. There's one that kind of looks heart-shaped and one that's oval or round. And you're going to go into this one first, the heart-shaped one closest to the handles. Place your crimp tube centered in there, and then squeeze. And you can see how it's squeezed it down to where there's kind of 2 tubes there. And when I take it out, there's a fold in the center right there. Now I put it sideways into the first divot that's more oval or round shaped, closest to the tip. And I make sure that my crimp tube is sideways, just like this, so that the 2 little tubes that we created are touching the crimp tool the best I can get it. That's a little bit off, so let's straighten it out. And then just squeeze. And you have a really nice crimp. Then I'm going to, of course, cut this as close as I can to that first bead. And back off. I have a really pretty necklace. All I have to do is put some ends on it. So let's do that real quick. I'm going to use a toggle for this. I'm going to use this one that's in the package. And I am going to pick up 2 of the jump rings that came in the box also. And I am going to pick these up. These are already open, so all you have to do is slide it on to your clasping and then slide the jump ring onto your chain. Let's get closer again. And this is what I have. And then we are going to grab the other pair of chain nose pliers and close this jump ring. Make sure it's nice and flush, close tightly, and then do the same thing to the other side. And grab the other half of my clasp. I'm going to have to open this a little more. Grab this and then drop it down onto my chain, and then I am going to grab the side of the jump ring and just twist it closed. And I kind of wiggle it, make sure that it's nice and flush, and then this is what I have. It's really pretty. And this is exactly an 18-inch necklace. I will measure it to be sure, but I'm pretty sure it's exactly 18 inches because I did a layout on my bead board beforehand. And I will measure it, and we will come back and we will make a pair of earrings. Okay, I'm going to make a couple pair of earrings, and again, we're going to keep this really simple. So what we're going to do is we're going to use 6 of the crystals, and we're going to do a little wire wrap on them so you can see, and I'll show you how to do that, but you're going to do that with 6 of your crystals. You'll need 2 ear wires, and then I have cut some segments of chain. I cut 2 pieces that are 10 links long, 2 pieces that are 8 links long, and 2 pieces that are 5 links long. And then I'm just going to kind of move these aside here. And we're going to grab one of our crystals, and I'm going to show you how to wrap that. A lot of you already know how, but for those who do not, then we're going to go ahead and do this. So we're going to just slide, and of course you'll need 6 head pins. So slide it onto your head pin like this. And then I just like to bend it right over with this little pair of pliers because it's hard to bend over. It moves around in the bead. So I just bend it right over the top of the bead, just like that. Then take your wire cutters and or your end cutters, flush cutters, whatever, and about 1/4 of an inch up, cut that. And then grab your round nose pliers. I like to hold it so that I can kind of keep that wire from moving. So I hold it in my fingers like this. And then I just grab the very end of it, and not too far down my pliers, I'm going to place this on the very end of the wire. And then just turn as far as I can. And then I'll reposition my wrist and continue to turn until I get a loop. And then I'm just going to use my chain nose pliers and make sure, let me get you even closer here, make sure that this is closed all the way. So what I do is I just open it a little bit and close it. But we're going to put our chain on here, so you can do this part as we put our chain on. So that's what you should have. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab an ear wire. We're going to take the smallest chain or the shortest chain, doesn't matter. We're just going to start putting all of our beads on the chains. So I'm going to open this, and all I did, let me close it again, is grab a hold of it and open it by twisting it, just like that. Make sure my link is closed on my chain, and I checked that already as I was preparing them. And then I'm going to grab a hold of it and of the head pin, and I'm going to close it again. And I'm going to kind of wiggle and push in, making sure as I twist it that it closes tightly. Otherwise your chain is just going to fall off. Your bead's going to fall off. So we're going to do that, and then we'll prepare all of them. So I'm going to take my 5 link chain again, and on this one my loop is a little bit bigger, but let's see if I find one that's a little smaller so that they match. Here's one, and I'm going to just twist it open. Come on. Just like that. Drop my chain on. It's arguing with me, so I'm going to open it a little bit more. Drop my chain on, just like that. Grab a hold of it and wiggle it closed. Make sure it's touching the neck of the loop there, and that's what you have. And just make sure you kind of hold the bead between your fingers and hold the head pin so it doesn't twist. And continue, make all 6 of your beads, and then put them on the wire or on the chain. And I'm just going to set these 2 aside because I know those are my 2 shortest. And then I'll work on my medium and set them next to the 2, and so I keep it all straight. Of course, by looking at it, you should be able to tell, but I like to just arrange things nicely. So go ahead and make your beads, and put them on your wires, and we'll be back. This is what you should have. And I've decided that I'm going to drop them on a jump ring and then put them on my ear wire. I was just going to drop them on the ear wire, but I think that this is going to work out better. So get 2 of your jump rings out, and if you don't have the box, then these are about 5mm round. You can use whatever size you want. It doesn't truly matter. Grab one of your ear wires and make sure that the loop is closed on your ear wires. So just look up at the top, make sure that it's closed tightly. This one is. Sometimes they'll be a little bit open here and you need to shimmy them closed. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just grab one of these jump rings, and I'm going to start with the longest first, the longest chain, and I'm going to drop that one on, and then I'm going to drop the middle one on, middle size chain. Let me get to where I'm actually in camera here. They just come out a little bit. Yeah, that's not working. Oh well. And now I've messed up my entire thing, so let me do this again. Lovely, just lovely. Okay, so let me grab my jump ring. I just hold it in my chain nose plier, and then I'm going to start again. The longest chain first, and then I'm going to do the middle size chain, and then I'm going to do the small chain. Then I'm going to grab my ear wire, making sure that the hook part is down towards your bead mat, and then just put it on there. That way you know what direction it's going to hang, and because we want to mirror these. So, good, Gina. Whoa, you guys, this is fun. You know, I could probably sit here by myself, not on camera, and do this without all these weird things happening. But no, you turn on the camera and blam. Okay, so there we have it. Now I'm going to put it this way, put this on, and then I'm going to grab the jump ring, see if I can actually hold it this time, and close it. And of course my ear wire got in the chain. Wow, I'm having a good time. And this is what this looks like. Just very simple, very pretty. So I'm going to lay this one down. Da da da. Alright. So now I'm going to pick up my second jump ring, which has disappeared. There he is. And I'm going to start this time with the shortest. Of course, you can turn your jump ring around too. You don't have to do it with the shortest first, but I'm just going to start with the shortest first, then the middle, then the longest, and that's the longest. Let's do the middle. And then the longest. Yeah, just like that. And then turn this towards the bead mat, as you know, so you know what way it's going to be, so it mirrors the other one. And put it on there. I'm going to get you a little closer. I know that I'm kind of far out, but I want to stay in camera. And then I'm just going to close this little jump ring. And now I have 2 earrings. And I'll show you what they look like with the necklace. And here's the finished set. I think it turned out really pretty. I did measure it. It is 18 inches, the necklace is. And it lays really nice on the neck. Looks really good. So, like I said, very simple designs. These beads showcase themselves really nicely, so you don't have to get too complicated with them. They look really nice, just simple and elegant like this. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. We'll be back for more soon. Bye-bye.